Well, that was a racket. Whew! We went to Not So Scary last week, and I would love to help you plan your Not So Scary trip and not make the same mistakes that we did. Let's unpack this thing. Friends, Laura Krumzak from the Disney Slowdown, where I'm going to help you plan your magical vacation with your special needs kids. Slow down, savor the moments, avoid the meltdowns, stay on budget, and have a good time. Not So Scary is one of those specialty events. It's their Halloween event, which is Not So Scary. Very fun. There's a lot going on, and it was our first time going, and there's a lot of things that I think I would do differently. But let's unpack the whole night, shall we? Starting with our schedule and what we did. We actually didn't end up getting there until about 3:40, and that meant like up to the ticket gate of Magic Kingdom. Now remember, for Magic Kingdom, you park way past this. It's like Seven Seas Lagoon, so you are on the other side of the lake where the parking is. Then you've got to take your tram or walk up to the Ticket and Transportation Center, where then you've got to take a monorail into Magic Kingdom or the ferry boat. So that whole process, getting from your car to the actual gate of Magic Kingdom, at least 30 minutes. Don't underestimate the amount of time that it takes to get from your car to the actual park. At least 30 minutes. So by the time we got up to the ticket gate, there was already a line of people waiting to get in for Not So Scary. It was 3:40. It was hot. It's August. We knew it was going to be hot. What I saw was very ingenious. A lot of people had umbrellas, and I'm like, that is very smart. Because while you may be used to going to Disney in August when it's hot, you cannot avoid the direct sun when you're standing there waiting in these lines. And I'm talking about getting into, getting scanned in, getting your wristband, and then again, we were held back from actually entering the parks until about 3:55, 4 o'clock. That's when they finally released us. They directed us like around Tomorrowland. There's a CM gate right there, and they had that open, and that's where we all started. So we kind of all were funneled, but you're not getting out of the direct sun during any of that process. So bringing an umbrella would have been helpful. Actually, I'm thinking like one of those hats, the umbrella on your head hat type of thing. And maybe it would be compact enough to be in your park bag. Yep, I found some on Amazon. I'm going to add them to your park essential list because I think they would really come in handy. After we scanned into the parks and we were kind of held there, they scanned us in, they gave us our wristband, and then we had to wait in another line. If you're in the beginning of the line, then you might have actually been inside the tunnel, but we were outside of the tunnel waiting for them to release us. When they finally let everybody in, they were handing out those maps. Very handy to have, and we'll talk more about that later. While we were waiting to be let into the parks, I went ahead and mobile ordered at Casey's Corner. And thankfully, I gave myself about 30 minutes because I did not know that they were going to funnel us on the other side of Tomorrowland first. I probably could have gone the other direction, but we needed to get our trick-or-treat bags as well. So I figured, might as well just go do that, and then we can cut over to Casey's Corner. The only thing we were actually able to mobile order ahead of time was the corn dogs, the Chipotle barbecue corn dogs. I was disappointed with that because we were hoping to grab two, like the fries and the corn dogs and that pumpkin cheesecake, but apparently the fries and the pumpkin cheesecake were only available at 7 o'clock. So we sat down, we ate that, it was super hot. We decided to go ahead and try for some additional treats. I had Samara and Jaden go to the Cheshire Cat and get the Queen of Hearts slushie. Then Emily and I went to Anti-Gravity's, and again, the Witch's Cold Brew was not available until 7. We were under the impression that it was available somewhere in the park all day. It is not. We had to wait till 7 o'clock for that. The sweet corn soft serve was available, but we decided not to get that because Emily really wanted her coffee, so we were on the hunt for coffee. Emily and I also, when we couldn't get the Witch's Cold Brew and we decided to wait on the soft serve, we went ahead through Star Traders and looked at the merch. I didn't see any not so scary specific merch, but there was a lot of seasonal merch there, and she was interested in the candy corn spirit jersey anyway. We decided on going to Joffrey's. Now, on the mobile app, they had a couple of specialty drinks. There was like a s'mores frozen latte or something like that, and one other one, I can't remember what it was. But when we got up to the window, there was a placard and there were 2 pumpkin lattes and there was a chai latte. She went for one of the pumpkin lattes. I got the chai latte. That pumpkin creme brulee cold brew was in the other pumpkin latte that we did not get. Then we sat down together. We were at Cosmic Rays sitting down. We're like, okay, so this whole plan of what we were going to do before 7 o'clock is kind of out the window. So I checked ride times. Jaden really wanted to ride Space Mountain, but he wanted to see the Halloween overlay. And I'm like, okay, that's not going to happen until 7. I know that for a fact. So we decided to go ahead and get in line for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. It had like a 50-minute wait. When we got up there, it said 60 minutes. But it was about 5:40 when we got to the line, and we actually were funneled up and like ready to enter the car. There was one family in front of us, and it was 6:20. One thing that I will say about Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, I know the line is always really long, and that has deterred us from riding it as well. However, the line is completely shaded, and they've got huge fans blowing at you, moving air around at least. And then when you get up to the cave, it's open air, but there's air condition blowing at you. So actually the line was really pleasant. So I will probably try Seven Dwarfs again at another time. Because we got up to the front of the line, we were ready, and then due to inclement weather, they shut it down. We were right there. Well, we decided there wasn't anything else that we wanted to do. And if, this one is shut down, then other rides that we wanted to try were shut down as well due to inclement weather. So we're like, we're just going to sit here. Let's hope it passes. Well, at about 6:40, they went through the line and said, okay, if you don't have a wristband, we're going to have to ask you to leave because you do need to exit the park before 7 o'clock. We waited at Seven Dwarfs Mine Train until 7:15. We started to smell the rain and we're like, oh yeah, okay, well, we're going to have to do something else now. So we went ahead and left the line at 7:15. Party had already started and it was pouring down rain. So we decided, let's go to Princess Fairy Tale Hall because we can do a little trick-or-treating and it's indoors and we'll at least get to see Maleficent and the Evil Queen. So that's what we did. We ran over there. And then when we got through that line, we decided let's do an indoor ride. Winnie the Pooh was right around the corner, the Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. And so we're like, let's go ahead and get in that line and we'll just ride that ride and maybe the rain will let up a little bit. And after we left that, we were like, well, let's head to Country Bears Jamboree. And as we walked by, there were, long lines. Everybody was trying to get inside. So your lines for trick-or-treating that were inside, like Columbia Harbor House, even I think the Diamond Horseshoe, their line was pretty long, but it was outside. And we're like, okay, let's just go to Country Bears Jamboree. We'd actually never been to Country Bears. We didn't go before it closed and got a whole makeover. And so this was our first time going to see it ever, but then we got to see the new show. It was very entertaining.
Give us a little intro there, Gomer. Howdy, folks. Welcome to the one and only all-original country band musical tambourine, featuring a wild and woolly assortment of grizzled old grizzlies singing a little country, a little western, and a whole lot of everything in between. It's a country band musical tambourine. We slap and go, Captain Jubilee.
No time to even hibernate.
After all our years together, I can still barely wait.
After Country Bears, it was still raining. It was starting to slow up a little bit. We had heard that the shows had all been canceled. All the night entertainment was canceled, so that was a little disappointing. But we decided to go ahead and go to Pirates. It's indoors. It had like a 5-minute wait. Like, why are you people not doing this? I don't know. So we went through and went to Pirates. There was nothing extra in Pirates. I think years before they had put like cast members in the pirate scenes as you're going through the ride, but not this year. Before that, we went ahead and hit Jungle Cruise. We did a little trick-or-treating. Jungle Cruise wasn't open, but they were using their deck for trick-or-treating. Oh, fun fact, I realized that when it started getting dark, I did not actually have my glasses with me. I had left them in the car. I couldn't read signs, and I get lost over in that Adventureland, Frontierland area anyway. So that was, shut up. So that was a lot of fun. The kids are like, oh, we need to go over here. I'm like, y'all are going to have to lead because I have no idea where I'm going, and I don't have my glasses. The early parade was postponed and then canceled altogether. Rusty Cutlass wasn't out. Cadaver Dans weren't out. We decided to, I went to the Golden Outpost to pick up our beignets, and the kids took the bags and went trick-or-treating. They went to Tiana's Bayou, and I think they went through 3 times because there was no line. Then we came back, ate the beignets. I think we were at Pecos Bill. We were inside. And then we decided, let's go hit Tiana's again for trick-or-treating. And we also went to Tom Sawyer's dock because they had trick-or-treating there. They were just kind of across the street from each other. Jaden wanted to go ride Big Thunder Mountain because the rain had slowed down enough where they opened Big Thunder. So we let him go off to Big Thunder, and the girls and I went and we did Tom Sawyer's Island twice. You go through, you get back in line, you go through again, and then we went through Tiana's and we went through again, and we decided we were going to meet in Agrabah because Jaden wanted to meet Jafar. So we headed over there. We all met up. We were in line for Genie and Jasmine. Abu and Aladdin weren't there. It was just Genie and Jasmine. We realized there were a lot more people in line than we thought, and it was going to take forever. We did hear that the fireworks show was still on. So it was about 5 till 10 at that point, and we're like, okay, well then we knew that Fantasyland and the area behind the castle, typically that is closed off when the fireworks are going on for safety reasons. So we knew we couldn't go that way. So we're like, well, let's head this direction. We'll go toward the castle and we'll try and get a good spot before the show starts. And we saw where Jafar was meeting people, but he wasn't there yet. There was only a few people waiting in line, and then he walks out. So we're like, oh, well, let's get in Jafar's line, and we've got some time yet, get a picture with him, and then we'll go to the fireworks show. I thought the fireworks started at 10:15 because I did not look at my trusty dusty map. And they actually started at 10. So we're standing in line waiting for Jafar. The fireworks start going off. Jaden's like, I don't want to meet Jafar. I want to see the fireworks. So we take off running to try to see the fireworks. They didn't have all of the characters on the castle stage like they would during, a normal night. But the projections were all there. Jack Skellington, his shadow was there. So it was still, we still got to see part of it, which we were very happy about. Then we decided it was time for more food. And we didn't want to walk all the way around behind the castle because we were going to go to Cosmic Rays. We had the Sinister Sauté Burger and then the twice spiced chicken sandwich or something like that. So we decided to walk in front of the castle go down toward like Crystal Palace and Casey's Corner again and go over to Tomorrowland that direction. While we're walking, I'm mobile ordering. That's the best way to do it. I didn't want to stand in a line for food when we had mobile order available. So that's what we did. I did get to catch a glimpse of Elvis Stitch. We did not wait in line for him, but I did stand there and wait until the people like moved away and before new people came in, and I grabbed a couple pictures of him. Then we went on to Cosmic Rays and sat down and ate. At this point in time, it was almost 11 o'clock, and we're like, okay, we've only got an hour left. We need to really focus on what we absolutely want to do. Jaden wanted to go to Space Mountain. Samara went with him. We all wanted to go through the laugh floor. There was just no time to sit down and listen to the banter. That would have been really cool if we would have been able to do that earlier on, maybe. Emily needed to get her Spirit jersey. And we were going to get that silly ice cream and Witch's cold brew if it killed me. Now, I definitely did not need caffeine at 11 o'clock at night because I'm a real lightweight when it comes to caffeine, but I was very focused on tasting that pumpkin creme brulee cold brew and the Witch's brew. Yeah, that was a bad mistake. We'll talk about that later. So we finished our sandwiches. We went through the laugh floor. We went to Carousel of Progress. We only did each of those one time, and then we split up. Samara and Jaden went to Space Mountain. Emily and I went to Anti-Gravities. We got our sweet corn, candy corn, soft serve with no toppings. We didn't get the sundae part with all the butterscotch and stuff on it. And I did order the Witch's brew. I'll just preface this now. That was a bad idea. I ended up throwing most of the Witch's brew away, but then she and I went to the Emporium. I'm like, okay, let's go to the Emporium. We can go look at the other merch and you can make your decision. And we were running out of time. People were already lined up. We were walking down Main Street. People were already lined up for the parade. I'm like, okay, so clearly the last parade, the one that started at like 11:15, clearly that one is still on. So let's watch it. Let's get in, get your stuff, and get in line, line up here along Main Street so we can see at least something, right? She decided on the candy corn Spirit jersey. That's the one that she really wanted. She didn't quite have enough money for it, but thankfully we had the AP discount, which took a 20% off. That was very nice. So she got the shirt that she wanted, even though it was more money than she had. I do love my AP discount for situations like that. And then we stepped right outside of the Emporium and just kind of stood behind people. I'm glad that I'm tall. I was able to live stream that. It was kind of broken up into two pieces because there was about a minute gap between Vanellope and then Ursula. And I was standing there and I'm like, okay, are we done? Is this it? So I stopped the live stream, but everybody was standing still. We were just still standing there. So I'm like, okay, is there more? What's happening? And then Emily's like, oh, Ursula's coming. So I started the live stream again. So that's why it's on two different videos. I will link that right here for you so you can watch that if you didn't see it. Now, remember, in Frontierland, that's where the parade starts. And so it has to make its way all the way down Frontierland and Liberty Square and then onto Main Street in front of the castle and come all the way down. So that's why it was like, 11:30 before the beginning of the parade came to us. I heard that the Headless Horseman did not ride because of the weather due to safety concerns. We did hear Max and the Powerline Dancers on Main Street. They probably started at 11:15 when the parade started in Frontierland. I've heard that Max and the Powerline Dancers only are on Main Street. So they're there entertaining the crowds while everybody's waiting for the parade to come through. But we didn't get to see the Headless Horseman. So by the time the parade finished on Main Street, it was 11:56. And everybody is going out the gate. Like, they're done. We've been rained on for 3-4 hours. And we're like, I think the Spectacular is still on, so we're like salmon upstream and we're heading back toward the castle. Now they did an abbreviated version of the Spectacular. That was like the first number. It was only 7 minutes long. But we got to see some of it. Oh, and as we walked out of the park after the Spectacular was over, we did hit a few photo pass places. I think we only hit 2 of them. Emily and I got one on our way to the Emporium. I made her stop. So we only got a couple of magic shots, but at least I got a couple of shots. Let's talk food. All right, first of all, watching all of those vloggers talk about, oh, come in between 4 and 7 and get your food, and then they're showing you the party food that they're eating, and I thought, oh, well, these items are going to be available. No, lies, all lies. They were not available. Yes, I know I saw on the app, there's so much information on the app, and I'm not really like details, it's like something about bubbles, something about the tops, and that's just kind of how I roll. So I did not pay close enough attention to see what was available and what was not available, but I think we did okay with our little snacks. Everybody enjoyed the mini corn dogs. I think the hot dog combination with the Chipotle barbecue pork was not fabulous. It would have been better on the French fries. The corn dogs were a mouthful. The Queen of Hearts slushie, I actually enjoyed it. It was cold, it was refreshing. Now this was all before the rain came down. So we were ready for something cold and refreshing. I didn't find it overly sweet, although once we started mixing in the whipped cream with the rest of the slush, it got a lot sweeter. Kids finished that, so that was fine. Joffrey's coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, and my coffee palate is not refined enough to taste hinting notes of anything. I think Joffrey's coffee is quite strong. So if you like strong coffee, Joffrey's might be for you. Now, if you mix it in, the girls get frozen coffee drinks all the time, and I don't find them overly sweet like some of the other like frappuccinos that you get from Starbucks. I felt like her pumpkin pie thing was okay. I didn't really taste pumpkin. I tasted the cinnamon. I think maybe that was, the part of it that they wanted to really accentuate. Although I think it would probably have been better if they would have had like the ginger and the nutmeg in there too. I don't know. The chai espresso I thought was flavorful. I enjoyed the chai. And we got them latte. They were both, cold over ice. They weren't a frozen blend thing. You really kind of had to mix them up though, because you would get that strong Joffrey's coffee in there and it was very overpowering. But once you mixed everything up, I thought they were enjoyable. Now, the Witch's Brew, there was no redemption there. I know Molly loves it, but she loves her black coffee. There was no amount of pumpkin cold foam, sweet cream, or those candy toppings that were going to redeem that drink for me. I couldn't taste hinting notes of anything, which was very disappointing. And I even tried to put some of the sweet corn ice cream in it, and there was no redemption. I ended up throwing it away. And again, at 11 o'clock at night, I knew it was a bad idea for me to have any kind of caffeine, because I am a lightweight when caffeine, man, I'd be up all night. And yes, I did have trouble sleeping after I finally, hit the pillow at 2:30 in the morning. The candy corn ice cream. So there's been some confusion. They're calling it candy corn. They're calling it sweet corn. It's labeled as candy corn soft serve. It is definitely sweet corn. Emily took a taste of it and she's like, this tastes like sweet corn and I don't hate it. I didn't get that on video. I wish I would have. It was okay. I mean, it was more vanilla and then you got that hint of sweet corn. DFB Guide nailed that description. It was all right. I don't think it's something that I just absolutely have to have. Maybe it would be good in a coffee float. Those beignets are just meh. When I got up to the line, there was a new lady who was training on how to assemble them. And so she was being shown, and then we were like her first customer. And I saw did not shake enough of that spicy berry powdered sugar on top of the beignets, and I almost asked her to hit them again, but I didn't, and I probably should have, because that's kind of really what I wanted to taste. The beignets were okay. The chicory chocolate sauce definitely tasted like coffee and chocolate. It was all right. Again, Emily ate it with a spoon. She loved it. I think Samara tried it. I don't know. Jaden might have tried it, but he doesn't like coffee. So nobody really ate any of the chocolate except Emily, who ate it with a spoon. The Sinister Sauté Burger at Cosmic Ray, I had high hopes for. I was disappointed because there was not enough of that sauté sauce on there. It felt more like it was smeared like mayonnaise, and it should have been, done up like ketchup. Like, it should have been saucy. We love sauté. I make chicken sauté. That red curry, coconut milk, and peanut butter. Like, it's just a great sauce. So we were really missing that. You definitely tasted the cocoa on the burger. The burgers at Disney World are those frozen patties. They're nothing super spectacular. All over all 4 parks and probably in all the restaurants, this is what they use. The frozen patties. And they have that taste. You've got to know what I'm talking about. Like, you can taste that they are a frozen patty. And they put the cocoa on it. You could taste that. It wasn't overpowering. That black bun was dry, at least on the bottom. I don't know if it was like overly toasted or if that bottom just dried out, but we hardly ate the bun. There wasn't anything special about the black bun. It was just bread. I wonder if it would have been better if they had put a little cocoa powder in there. I don't know. Definitely missed the sauté though. I thought the terrifyingly twice spiced chicken sandwich, I would call that Disney spicy, which is really surprising because with all of the stuff, it's supposed to be a spicy chicken breast patty. Then it had hot honey sauce on it, which we definitely tasted the hot honey sauce. I didn't taste like a spicy chicken sandwich at a restaurant, will light your hair on fire. I didn't even taste that. I didn't even know that was supposed to be there. So I don't think we got that. The hot honey sauce is good. We've had that on other options around the parks over the whole year. That's been like their go-to hot sauce, which I enjoy. Then pepper jack cheese and the jalapeno poppers. But that should have been a 3-alarm fire with all that stuff there, but it was nicely spiced as far as I'm concerned. So if you are afraid of super spicy things, I don't think this would be an issue. Trick-or-treating, as you can see from the map, we only hit half of the places. I think there were 15 trick-or-treating locations, and we got 7 of them. Now, it was a much better method of hitting one location multiple times at the same time instead of the original plan of Samara's, which was to walk around the park 3 times hitting all the trick-or-treat locations. But you can see how spread out they were. If trick-or-treating was kind of on your list but not like your main priority, you weren't hitting all those places anyway, because why would you go all the way over to Storybook Circus to hit one trick-or-treating location? We never even ventured over there, and we didn't make to Philhar Magic. We didn't make it to Columbia Harbor House. We didn't make it to the Diamond Horseshoe. Those are supposed to be really big trick-or-treating locations. I will say that we still ended up with 30 pounds of candy. I mean, check this out. So I would say we did pretty well. I was a little disappointed that the only M&M flavors they had were plain M&Ms, peanut M&Ms, and peanut butter. Last year, when I was watching videos about Not So Scary, they had cold brew, and I think they might have even had the fudge kind. So I was really hoping we would get some of the caramel or pretzel or definitely the cold brew, and we didn't get any of those. But that's okay. We got lots of candy. Yes, we would definitely go again. We've already talked about it. Not this year, obviously, but next year. We will not go in August. It is too freaking hot. If you do end up having to go in August, then you definitely want to get one of those umbrella hats or bring an umbrella with you. I mean, we knew that August was going to be hot. We knew that, it's hurricane season. Rain is possible. I was just hopeful we wouldn't get rained on. Of course, that's the 5th night, I think, of Not So Scary, and the first one that got rain. Yay us. I'm thinking next year probably going closer toward the end of September. We were really going for the cheaper tickets, and I didn't want to be in the first one. Middle of August was still not a good idea. So maybe waiting another, 4 or 6 weeks would be better for weather. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see it next year. Costumes. I think I'm still not a fan of, for myself, just going in a costume because I don't like, that kind of material and it's cumbersome. But I would probably put more thought into Disney bounding and choosing a character, or maybe if I could get, everybody on the same page, we could all kind of be themed and Disney bound with t-shirts and shorts. So I'd still be comfortable, but we're still kind of dressed up. I think that's on the list for next year. And then the food, I will definitely pay closer attention to the food and what's actually available before 7 and what is not. And maybe, get our food that we want like right at 7 o'clock and then start hitting things and use that 4 to 7 time frame to ride the rides or get the pictures. We are definitely going to be getting more PhotoPass pictures next year, because I'm the one who didn't get to do a lot of those because we were focused on everybody else's stuff, which, is something that happens when you've got kids. That's just how it works, right? The map that you get actually has a QR code, and it takes you to secret pages on the My Disney Experience app. I was looking through it, days later. Here we are Monday morning quarterbacking. And I was surprised at all the information that was on there if you just scan the QR code. And also, I had wrong times for the first parade. I had it starting at 9:15, but it actually was 8:15. So we would have missed the first parade anyway, although we were over in Frontierland. So we would have accidentally seen it, but I would have been thrown off. And the fireworks do say on the party map that they start at 10, but I had 10:15 down. So I'd gotten that information from other vlogger videos and it was wrong. So I would definitely sit down with your map as soon as you get it and kind of clarify your plan and make sure that all your times are right. I had alarms for my phone going off and nothing was happening. All in all, we got quite a bit of candy, which Samara was happy. Emily got her Spirit jersey, and even though we didn't get to ride Seven Dwarfs, we were right there. We were right there. And Tiana's Bayou was closed due to inclement weather. Jaden did get to ride Space Mountain, and he did get to ride Big Thunder Mountain, so he was happy. We got a couple of magic shots, so okay, fine then. I found out later, if we would have hit other trick-or-treating locations like Columbia Harbor House, the hitchhiking ghosts were actually hanging out in there. Because of the rain, they weren't outside. They'd moved them inside. So if we had gone that direction after the fireworks, if we would have gone back around the castle instead of cutting toward the front, hitting a couple more trick-or-treating locations, we actually would have seen them. My tips for you, I would say, yes, definitely enter the park by 4 o'clock. Get there early, bring an umbrella to cover yourself from the sun. And of course, if it pours on you, the umbrella would be handy. Being there at 3:40 really kind of worked for us because we were not out in the blazing sun for a long amount of time. I think that would have been really challenging had we shown up at 3 because you still were waiting until 4. They moved that line really fast. I mean, for us to be in the park right around 4 o'clock and we didn't get there till 3:40, that was pretty good. I don't think being the first one in the park is really that big of a deal. You're not going to get anything else done 5 minutes faster. I would definitely sit down, like I said, with this map and make your final plan. I think that's very important so you know that what you have in your brain lines up with what's actually supposed to happen and when it's supposed to happen. I would have liked to prioritize things a little bit better and made the full round for the trick-or-treating to see all of the locations, although you can't help the rain, so you just got to be able to pivot. I mean, any trip to Walt Disney World, you've got to factor in you might be delayed because of weather, and that's okay. There are other things to do. You just got to be able to think on your feet Because it was raining, we did not pull out our map as often as we should have. And I had a paper written of all the things that we wanted to do. And I didn't pull that out either because it was pouring down rain. So there wasn't really a good place to just stop and look at what we wanted to do. So how do you think we did on the Not So Scary? Have you ever been to Not So Scary? Was that like a good plan? Did we pivot well? I mean, I feel like we got as much accomplished as we probably could have. Next year, we'll definitely be focusing on other things like the PhotoPass options. Like we're totally doing those, and I don't care what the kids say. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Are you planning on going to Not So Scary this year? Did any of my planning help you, or did I just, freak you out? Remember, on this channel, we've got coming up, my mom has never been to Walt Disney World, and I am bringing her for the first time in December. So we are planning her trip, which also kind of took my focus off of Not So Scary because I was so excited about the December trip that I totally forgot that we're going to Not So Scary. But that's okay. I won't blame Mom for that one. That was totally on me. We've also got a lot of other things coming up on this channel. My fall is packed. First of all, my oldest daughter, who does not live in Florida, she is going to be in Rocky Horror Picture Show. And while I'm not going to put that on my channel, we are making a road trip to the Midwest. So I've got some fun things I want to show you. Hopefully I'll get those done. Then we've got a field trip to Universal. We haven't been to Universal in, well, I guess it's been almost a year now, so I'm excited to go back. Emily wants to go to SeaWorld for her birthday. I'm taking her in November, so we've got that coming up. I feel like there's something else that I'm missing. I don't know. We're all over the place. But that's okay. We're going to have a lot of fun, and you get to come along with us. So if we end up taking a week here and there and it's not about Disney, I apologize in advance, but we are a traveling family. We're an amusement park family, and we like to have a good time. So hopefully you'll continue to join us even through those non-Disney videos. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you on my next video.